Hello, and my name is Teddy Wafula, and today we are going to look at conditional statements in Python. Conditional statements check if a certain condition is true or a certain statement is true, then you execute a certain operation, else you execute a different operation. So before we get started, kindly subscribe, like, share, comment on my YouTube channel to get updated on new or upcoming tutorials. So let's get started. So we said earlier on that conditional statements check if a certain condition is true or false. If it's true, you carry out a certain operation. If it's false, you carry out a different operation, or you don't do anything. So conditional statements use logical operators like equals, not equals, greater, less than, greater or equal, less than or equal. So we are going to start with examples. So we are going to start with an example that checks your age with an if condition. So let's get started. Let's comment first and say we are going to start with an if condition. So we are going to say we check against a condition of age, an age of 18. And then we ask you to enter your age and say my age equals to input, enter your age. So as a user, you'll enter your age, then we check if it's greater than 18, then you say you are above 18. So we say if my age, let's say it's an integer, so we are doing what we call typecasting, so we don't get a string. If my age is greater than the age, then I print and say I'm above 18 years, above 18 years old. Let's try and run this. So here it's saying enter your age, so I'll say 21. I'm above 18 years old, so here it is. So if I try and say I run again and say 17, then you don't get any output because we haven't written an else condition. So we're just checking if it's above 18, we give out this statement. So basically that's what an if condition does. So what if you want to print another statement saying you are below 18 years old? So we are going to use what we call an else statement. So we're going to say else, do an if else condition. So we are going to say, we're going to copy this, you can copy this and say copy. You can just leave it and comment it. Then I copy it here and say if my age is greater than 18, I print I'm above 18 years old. Else, so just to note, if else, inside an if condition and an else condition, you have to add 4 spaces. Like here you have to have 4 spaces, something that we call indentation in Python. You have to have 4 spaces for you to print your output, so you have to ensure you have the 4 spaces. So this is what we call syntax. So in an else condition also you're going to do 4 spaces. So this is the first one, second one, third and fourth. So you're going to print you are not above 18 years. You are not above 18 years of age, because we are saying if it's greater. So if it's greater than 18, it can be equal or it can be less than. So we are saying you are not above. You can be equal to 18 or less than 18. So if you try and run this here and say, for example, 18, it's saying you are not above 18 years of age, So this is what we meant by an else condition. So we can also add another condition to check if your age is 18 or less. So that's what an elif condition does. So we are going to comment this and copy the whole of it and paste it here. Do an if else if. So an else if in Python is called elif. So we normally use elif, then else condition. So uncommenting this, we say if your age is greater than 18, you're above 18 years old, then we say if elif, you put an elif. So we just leave this, then say elif and my age is equals to age, then we print and say I am 18 years old, right? Else if you are not 18 years old and you're not above, then you are below. You are below, or I am. I can say I'm below 18 years of age. So if we try and run this, then we say my age is 18. I am 18 years old. So what if we try and run again and say 19? I am above 18 years old. So if we try run again and say 17, I'm below 18 years of age. So basically that's how conditional statements work. So it checks if you are, if the first condition is met, then you carry out a certain function or operation. So if a certain condition is not met, and you also check, you go deeper and check another condition, then you print or you carry out a certain operation, like for our case this one. Then the last one, you check if the above operations are not met. What do? I print or I carry out another operation on the same. So basically that's how if, else if, and else works, using a greater than, equal operators. So we might also want to look at other operators, greater than or equal, for our case. Greater than or equal, less than or equal, then less than. So if we say, we can change this one to less than, then we have to change also our output. So it's similar to saying I am below 18 years of age. Copy it here. Then the statement that was done here, you come and replace it. So it's just doing the vice versa of what we were doing. So if we say 21, I'm above 18 years old. If you try and turn again and say 17, you still get the same answer. So it's just doing the vice versa of what we had already done. So basically we have looked at the greater than, less than, equals. We can also look at not equals. So basically we can comment all this and say if int my age is not equals to, or we can say if my age is not equal to age, print I am not 18 years old. right? So if we try and run this and say 19, saying I'm not 18 years old, so this is how not equals is working. Then there's also what we call membership operators. Membership operators, it checks if a certain item is in a certain list or in a certain set. If it's not there, then we say it's not there. Else, if it's there, we carry out a certain operation. So we are going to do what we call, also going to check membership operators. So basically we have in and not in. So let's comment this. So inside here you can have a list and say a list has got items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we say if 7 in list print 7 exists. So if you try and run this, so let's just comment this for input. Try and run this to tell you 7 exists. So if we try and change this to say 9, which doesn't exist, you won't get anything. So 9 does not exist. So we can use an else statement and say print nine does not exist. Then if we run, it says 9 does not exist. So this is another way of checking if an operator or if a variable or value exists in a variable. Let's say a variable is list, so the value 9 does not exist in our list. So basically that's it. You can use not in list. You say 9 does not exist, else you can say 9 exists. So you can use that. It runs. What if we say 7? Tell you so just change these values to 7, this one to 7, and say 7 exists or 7 does not exist. But for our case, 7 exists. So basically that's how if statement, that's how conditional statements work. We have if, else, if, and else. So if you have any question, kindly comment down below. I'll be able to help. If you need more clarification on anything, comment below. I'll be able to help. But basically, those are simple operations in Python for conditional statements. We can also have an if statement that doesn't need any execution. Like we can say if x, or if you can say if age is greater than 100, you can just say pass. You don't like to execute this function. So what do? We just pass. So it will work. If you don't need to execute anything inside this if statement, then you just put a pass. You don't print anything. So that's also one way of handling empty conditional statements. So we're also going to look at nested if statements. Nested if statements, we check against different if conditions. If the value that you have entered meets a certain condition, we print a certain, we do a certain operation. Then we go further and check if the same value meets another criteria that we need. Then we carry out now also a different operation. So we are going to say if, let's just typecast the age and say my age equals to int my age. So we're going to say if my age is greater than 18 or 17, we are going to say, we are going to print go, you are ready to get your driving license. Then we go further and say if my age is greater than, let's say 30, or let's say 40, we can say print we can just say life begins at 40, just to give you motivation. You can also say if my age is greater than 59, let's say 60 and above, then you can also say print and say for those people who like to retire or do other things, and say you can now, let's say you can now count your blessings. You can go get your retirement benefits and all those kind of things. So that's if condition. So let's start. Let's run this. So let's start with the, let's say 21. It says you are ready to get your driving license. So let's run again and put maybe 41. You are ready to get your DL, life begins at 40. Let's put an age of let's say 100. You are ready to get your DL, life begins at 40. You can now count your blessings. So you see how if condition has been nested and what it can achieve if you want to meet different criteria depending on a certain condition. Then this is one of the ways that you can nest your if statement. Also, it can be used when checking, when doing validation of your data. Maybe someone has entered a password. You are checking if the password has 8 characters, if the password has capital letters and small letters combined, if the password has an alphanumeric. We're also going to look at one-line statements for if, else, and if, elif, else statements. So first we're going to start with the short form for an if statement. So we can say if age, or my age, is greater than 17, print I am above 17. So these are now, let's say these are short form of if statement. So there's nothing done here. So if my age is greater than 17, print I'm above 17. So what happens if we run this? So I'm saying 18, I'm above 17. So this compared to what we wrote somewhere, compared to this, I have just written one line instead of going to the next line. So this is allowed in Python. So also going to check out the short form of if else statement. So we are going to say if we're going to say print I am above 17, or yeah, let's say 17, if my age is greater than or 17, else print I am 17 years and below. Or I'm under 18 years. I am under 18 years of age. So let's try and run. Let me comment this and try and run this. So let's say 21. I am above 17. So what if we run again and say 16? I am under 18 years of age. So that's how a nested, that's how the short form of if else statement works. Then we can also do another ternary operator, or the short form of if, elif, else statement. Short form. So here it is. So I'm going to say print above 17 years of age if my age is greater than 17, else I'm going to say print. So the first condition has been if it's met, then we say I am above 17 years of age. Else if it's not met, then we're going to the second condition to check if my age is now equals to 17, print else 17 years of age. Then the condition will be if my age is equals to 17, right? So the other one will be, and finally I'll say so here I've said print I'm above 17 years of age if my age is 17, else print I'm 17 years of age if my age is 17. Then we say else print I am below 17, I'm below 17 years of age. So that's how nesting that's how ternary operators work using a one-line statement. So we're going to say if my age is greater than 17, print I'm above 17 years old, else if my age equals to 17, print I'm 17 years of age, else what do? You print I'm 17 years of age. So let's run this and see. Let's say with 17, I am 17 years of age. That works perfectly. Then let's say 16, I am below 17 years of age. And then let's run again. 22, I am above 17 years of age. So this is the short form of if else statement. We're also going to look at and or operators, where you want to combine 2 or 3 different conditions so that you can carry out a certain operation. So I'm just going to demonstrate that. So here we comment and say, let's start with an AND operator. So we can say, let's say your name is John. Then your age, let's say your age is so your age is 25. So you can say if, let's comment this first. So you can say if name is equals to John and age equals to 25, then print you are authorized. Then you can say else, print invalid name or age. So let's run this and see. So if our name is John and our age is 25, so it means you are authorized. So if your age is, let's say, 24, then if we run, we say invalid name or age. So this one is normally used when you want to check username and password. When you want to log into a system, we normally compare the username and password in the database against your inputs. So that's one of the uses of this condition. Another one could be an OR operator. So we have OR. OR simply means both conditions, one of the conditions should be met, not all of them. So for example, you can say email equals to test@test.com. Then your phone number could be 1 2 3 4 5. So let me just comment this. So if we say if email is equals to test@test.com or phone equals to 1 2 can be 1 2 4 5 5 for our case, then print you can say valid username, else print invalid username. So if we try and run this, tell you a valid username. So even if we change the phone number to something else and try and run, but the email remains, it will tell you a valid username, because sometimes when you want to log in with the username, it can be a phone number or an email in the same input box, and you want to validate if any of the two exists in the database. So you check in your database if there is an email with such an email or a phone number with such a phone number before you do further validation of checking the password. So basically, this is one of the applications of AND or logical operators in the if-else conditions. So I hope you like this tutorial. If you have any questions, kindly put in the comments. I will urge you also to subscribe to my channel so that you can continue sharing information on programming. Kindly like, share, subscribe, and comment so that we can continue enlightening each other on other tutorials. Thank you for listening. Thank you.